Brothers and sisters, good morning. I just woke up and saw that there is actually a ban list effective November 11th that I mean, I don't, this is weird. I'm not gonna lie to you. Uh, yeah, effective November 11th, we got three new cards to the ban list that I'm quite shocked we got because usually we can, when it comes to card games, when you announce new cards, you usually get a format unless cards are a little bit too crazy. We get at least a format to play these. And I guess technically we do because the next set drops November 11th, but it's kind of like a mini set. So I don't know. It doesn't really count to me. But to see that they're addressing these cards now is kind of weird. I guess it's not like a bad thing, I suppose, because these cards kind of needed to get hit eventually. But doing it so soon is lame for people that like spent a lot of money to buy these to play these decks, and then they just get hit like 3 weeks later, which is not super great. But you know, it is what it is. I guess we'll make a quick discussion video just for you guys to check it out. We have Calling from Darkness restricted to one. Minerva Loop is a problem. Combo decks are just super enabled with this card. Uh, it's fine. Most Minerva decks will be okay. I mean, we have Demi, like the little devil guy that can get this thing back to your hand, but now it's obviously you don't get that super big combo potential, which is the point. You have to have an extra three memory just to get it back, and then a fourth to pop the card that you just use, and yada yada yada. So this is not terrible. I think Minerva Loops will be fine because you can play the little devil guy, but it's not going to be as good, which is the point. The point is that decks are not going to be as good. Other decks that this matters for, makes me sad. Beelzemon is less good. At least my version of Beelzemon is less good because I really liked having this card to essentially search my whole trash. But it is what it is. So yeah, Calling from Darkness, November 11th, limited to one. Sunrise Buster, which is like probably a bigger hit to decks like Security Control. Obviously, it's good again. It's good in Crossheart, which is probably the main reason why they're limiting it. Red Yellow Security Control just lost its biggest card, so that card feels kind of unviable. I'm not gonna lie to you. That deck. I mean now purple yellow Security Controls feel like the best one, like by far. Also, Rise Greymon loses a lot of potential as well, which is super lame because like these cards are super good. Like Sakuyamon is less good as well. I mean, you can still do the Holy Wave play and eventually the Tactical Retreat play, but Sunrise Buster was another really good option with Sakuyamon, which is now another option that you lose. So it's an inadvertently good hit for those decks, which some people have problems with. I don't think those decks are too big of a deal, especially Security Control. I think most people can just play around it. And I'm sorry if you guys can hear my cat meowing as loud as possible. And yeah, and then we finally got the Dora Greymon hit. This is the only hit where I'm just like, yes, finally, this needed to happen. This should have happened as soon as the next set drops. We need to have more periodic. Well, I don't know. I don't know about that. But when it comes to these really dominant decks, they should just get hit once the format is over or the next set drops. So I don't know. But yeah, good hit. Obviously, no problems with this one. Makes Alphamon weaker. I mean, there's other ways to play Alphamon, but this was probably the best card in their deck. So, moving on. And then they hit Shoutmon, just like straight up. They didn't even give us time to dominate with the deck. Honestly, I was in the camp that thought Shoutmon is probably not going to be as bad in a more consistent best of three format, especially in the West, where players in the West try to beat the best deck instead of play the best deck more often, which is why the best deck doesn't seem to be the best deck anymore. Especially when something like Shaman is so easily able to be countered by a bunch of different archetypes, but it's also really strong, and in set 12 it just gets better. They just keep printing support for this guy, so I can see them I can see them like limiting it sooner. I was hoping they'd limit it by the time the next set comes out. I don't know, by set 12 I think I mean set 11, because this is a set 10 card. Yeah, set 11 is what I mean. So to see them hit it so early is kind of weird, but hey man, I'm all for it because this is a nice shake up to the meta that we need. It's really nice whenever we get a different format than the East gets, because then we get to pretty much create our own format that never existed, which means that we have more times to explore and more ways to innovate, which is really interesting. I like that. So Shaman got hit to 4, and that is all of the cards, all effective November 11th. So if you have about what 14 days, you have about 2 weeks until the next hit. So I'm probably gonna play the hell out of Cross 4 for a little bit, just to have a fun with it while I can. And yeah, I don't think there's much else to talk about. So there we go. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, I guess we could talk about the cards that didn't get hit. Death Exmon, which once again, if you guys know me, I think Death Exmon is like the healthiest card because Death Exmon is only good in formats where Death Exmon is needed. So it's a good way to punish wide boards, and wide boards are just unmanageable sometimes. And I don't think Death Exmon gets worse because Cross 4 gets hit, because we still have decks like Jessmon and Bloomlord that exist, as well as just any deck that gets a little bit too crazy with their board state. It's a good way to punish people that are playing poorly, I suppose. So, not even poorly, punish people that are playing some decks, because decks obviously that go wide, whether it's with Tamers or with Digimon, are obviously really strong. So, you need to be able to make those decks chill. Just like, hold up, son. I see what you're doing. Death X. So that just means players have to play around it, which I think is fine. I don't think it's bad for the game. Other cards that are kind of crazy is, I guess, Kuwagamon, Alphamon got hits, Garurumon. I'm a little bit on the fence on Guru. I think Guru is kind of crazy. But Kuwagamon, Grand Kuwagamon, I think though that deck is fine because it's just straight up loses to security. Unless you play combo red, it just loses to a lot of security. So I think that deck's a little bit more manageable. A little bit on the fence about War Gray. I guess War Greymon also loses security, but it's a lot cheaper to set up a big multi-hit board. Weregaruru, I mean not War Gray, Weregaruru. I'm sorry. I always get the two confused. And I don't think there's any other deck that I find an immediate issue off the top of my head. Maybe I'll think about it more and think about something else. But yeah, I don't think any of those needed to be hit. I think this ban list is fine. Calling from Darkness is definitely like a long time coming. Whether it was going to be broken now or broken later, it definitely has the most broken potential of all cards in the game, I'd say. Sunrise Buster, a little bit shocked on this one. I don't think it was really necessary. I think Sunrise Buster was the one card in this list where I'm just like, maybe you didn't actually have to hit that. But that aside, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, share all that good jazz, more videos in the future, and I'll see you guys next time.